Neonic Void Productions presents.
Hi, welcome to my imagination station. Hi, how are you? I'm Zio. Imagination Station, aka Spook Apocalypse. Hi, how are you? Today I'm joined with people. People?
Yeah, I think we got us people.
People?
I would hope so.
Well, you got a person and a faggot. So
Why do you talk about yourself like that? You got to put yourself
hey,
higher.
baby, sweetheart. No, I'm not talking about. I know I'm a faggot, but I'm talking about the other faggot in the room. Housekeeper, I'm sorry. You've been voted as a faggot. I'm sorry. I had to break the news to you. I'm sorry.
By who? The Peanut Gallery?
But the other faggots in the Neonic Void Productions,
Got it. Okay.
aka, oh my god, there's only two of us. Oh my god, our numbers are dwindling. There's only two people. Oh my god, is there really only three gays?
And I'm Bunyip, and I have to watch all this go down.
I'm having a traumatic. There's only three. Me, Kaiju Groupie, and Housekeeper. That's it. Everyone else straight.
I thought everyone else.
I'm kidding. Anyway, before we go down into I need to get more gays in here. Anyway, welcome back to Spookocalypse, where we do all things spoopy and spooky and all kinds of kooky and campy. Housekeeper, take it away.
No.
I will drive over there to your house in 20 minutes, and you can say that to my face.
Bitch, in 20 minutes, I won't be here.
In 20 minutes, you won't be here. Oh, you're going to leave? You're like, find me now, bitch. Wow.
Anyway, if you like this podcast, make sure you follow and rate us on whatever site you listen to your podcast. Follow us on Twitter, or guys, I'm not going to call it by that stupid ass name.
Right.
Our handle is at Spookocalypse. That's at SPOOKOCALYPSE. Share this shit with your friends. New episodes get uploaded every Saturday. We are also on YouTube. If you are on YouTube, hi, hello, welcome. Make sure you drop a like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever you guys want to do. Anything to help the channel. We do spooky shit. Mints are gonna be on the pillow.
Today's flavor mint is, I don't know. I don't know what today's flavor mint would be. There's not a flavor that pops out with the topic we're talking about today. At least I don't think so.
Trail mix.
Oh yes, trail mix. Okay, good save. Today's flavor of mint is trail mix. That's an odd flavor of mint, but
it's like nuts, Chex, and sometimes chocolate.
So like salty chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay. Chocolate mint. Salty chocolate mint. Got it. Yeah. So again, what's popping? The last couple weeks have been a mess. As you were probably listening to this now, everything seems been kind of going out of whack a little bit lately. Recordings of like past recordings that were pushed back because I was currently moving, as well as other stuff going on in my life. And then there's things and stuff But we're getting back on schedule as far as posting. So you'll be seeing us weekly again. Hallelujah. For Spook, some sad news to start off the episode. Well, saddened news. Matt Sherman has left Spook for the time being due to life. Because life happens and stuff. So he will not be on the episodes from, I don't want to say from this point on, because I know there are some episodes that we recorded that I have not posted yet that he is on. But as far as recording from here on, he will not be part of the cast as of right now until if and when he ever decides to come back if he wants to, which that door will be always open, Matt Chairman. So all you have to do is just roll up and knock on the door and be like, let me the fuck in, and we let you the fuck in. So, oh God, did I make a rolling joke?
You did.
I mean, yes, but
oh,
I'm sure
fuck.
it'd be appreciated.
That was not intentional. I swear. Devin, cut that part out. Future Devin, cut that part.
Future Devin, keep that part in.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to keep that part in. You all don't know, but I'm not going to explain how. I'm not going to explain anything about that. you know. But yeah, it's Matt Chairman. You're always welcome back here at Spook. I mean, you've been here for the last 2 years, as long as Bunyip over here. So you are more welcome to always come back when you are ready to. If you just, otherwise, please, if you're out there, please continue to listen, Matt Chairman. Support the pod. Support the show. Anyway, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about some fan-made films today.
Yes.
We met these wonderful people at what is it called? Cult Fest or whatever?
I think it was called Cult
I
Fest.
think it's called Cult Fest. I think they're also the same people who made that board game, right?
I think so. But of
If
course, I don't remember if they were actually because I don't think they were the one. Future Devin, possibly take this part out. I don't think they were the ones that made it, because we were just talking about indie films. I think the people that were there that worked on these films were there, but that's not the ones we were talking to, because you were talking to the guys who I am working with for Killer Cox, and they were telling us about all these other short films. And I think one of the guys was there that worked on these films that we're talking about. But we had a conversation with somebody over with about fan made films and some good fan made films, and there was some of the people were there that we interacted with, as well as conversation with somebody that that will potentially be on the pod in the future. We have to reschedule. We still have to reschedule when they want to do the interview, because they were sick that last time we tried to do it.
Right.
So, but that person will be on the pod at some point, but talking about a certain project that I'm part of. But unless we're talking about fan made films today, and the next 2 weeks or the next 2 episodes, it's going to be on a franchise that I don't like. But let me tell you, these fan made films, I like these more than the actual franchise. And that's saying something. We're going to do these differently than our normal episodes on movies. We're not going to review, we're not going to necessarily review, and we're not going to score. So there'll be no scores out of 5 of any of the sort. This is going to be more of a episode. Well, the next 2 episodes will be more on the product itself, as well as the art of fan made films and what we liked about it. Basically talking it up, getting you all interested to go watching it, because all these are on YouTube for free to watch, or you can actually go on their website and buy the physical releases from them as well.
Yeah, support
My
them.
boyfriend has, exactly, like my boyfriend has. He has the first one. We're going to be talking about the Never Hike Alone series, which is a fan made series of films based on the Friday the 13th franchise. And my boyfriend has the Never Hike Alone, the first one, and I think he has Never Hike in the Snow. But he refuses to watch the second one until he buys it. And I'm like, babe, the second one's really fucking
Yeah, the second one is so good.
it's so good. Damn, Jason, I hate Jason. I will wail on that mama's boy till the cows go moo. But these movies, girl, Jason's working it. He's really putting his flashy
I
on board.
hate you.
I hate that. I hate that I said that. But
I'm glad. I hope you live with so much regret for that one sentence.
slasher and ussy slash
I-
ussy.
Stop. I'm gonna walk into the ocean right now.
What ocean? We're not near one.
I'll walk there and then continue to walk through the ocean.
Oh God. Oh God. Okay. Dramatic ass.
I'll probably make it there by the time my birthday hits, but you know what? It'll be worth the voyage.
Be worth the voyage. So today we're going to be talking about the first two films of the Never Hike Alone series because they're much shorter. The first two are about the same length as the second one. So we're going to do that in two different episodes. The first two we're going to talk about is Never Hike in the Snow, which is a prequel, and Never Hike Alone, the first one, and that's the first one that they released. So these films were all of them directed by the same person, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. Vincent DeSanti?
Yes.
I actually pronounced that right. Yay. So, wait, is there more of them? Never Hike Alone, Ghost in the Fog? What's this one?
So like they have like little bonus things on their channel. So like they'll have like the press conference from Never Hike in the Snow that the sheriff did. So like they have like all these like this extra content that's on their channel.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
another. Yeah, there's an animated short called Never Hike Alone, Ghosts in the Fog. Interesting. Yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff on their channel. Again, in the description below, we're going to have links to everything, to the channel, to the particular films that we're going to talk about. Like, it's all going to be there, baby. So it's one click away to YouTube, and you can support them by watching it, as well as potentially buying it. So I'll also post a website to get the physical releases of these short films as well. Before we really get into the nitty gritty of these particular fan films, what are you guys' thoughts on fan films of big franchises like this or others?
I never really watched fan-made films.
Really?
I've read like fan fiction before, where they're like, well, I don't like that this character died. Let me rewrite it and
Uh-huh.
see let's explore how it would be if this character didn't die and stuff like that. Like they just rewrite the whole story. There's literally on I don't remember what website. I think it's on Archive of Our Own. They have like literally as soon as Anne Rice died, thousands upon thousands of Interview with a Vampire fan fictions, and some of them are just rewritten to be better.
Oh.
And I'm like, how do you make? I mean, it was a great book, but how do you make it better? But yeah, so like I do partake in fan projects. I just never have watched a fan made film before.
I've watched a
Guilty
few in
pleasure.
my day, mostly Marvel ones, but
Of course.
of course. and actually had the director and the guy who played Peter Parker of that said Marvel short film, Spider-Man short film, on one of my other pods the past two. So no, there is plenty. There are some hot ones out there. Like, God, who was it? And I think it was John Carpenter, because a lot of big directors also start off with like fan films. So I think John Carpenter did like a Godzilla fan film back in the day, and I'm like, Bunyip, thoughts on fan films?
I haven't really watched many fan films. This is probably the first series that I've done watched fan films on. I have seen animated parodies of things, if that counts.
I mean, yeah, I would say so.
Like like Oni and G and Guardian Leviosa.
Oh,
Stupid
yeah.
I love that one.
Stupid Storm.
Well, yeah, then if you're
Yeah.
gonna say that, then yeah, like I have watched like those and like like Harry Potter Puppet Pals, like fan made skits. Of
Yeah, let
course,
me
I've
restate
watched.
that. Instead of just fan films, fan projects dealing with franchises. Because that also encompanies like fan fiction, parodies, fan films, other of all that stuff.
Yeah, like I've watched so many skits and stuff of like that fans have made. I fucking love them. They're great. Like oh wait, I lied. Technically, we could say like um the abridged series. So like Dragon Ball Z abridged, Hellsing abridged. The one lonely episode of Attack on Titan abridged, those are I
Uh-huh.
fucking love those. I love them. They are my favorite things to watch. I quote them all the time. Especially the Hellsing one.
Oh no, most definitely. But of course, with all those fan projects, more so with like the films and the parodies, that's where you get into legal shindigs with
Yeah.
the studios or the people who own the rights. Because
Which is
fan film, because it's just stupid, by the way. Because honestly, it's
which
just
yeah, it's like
publicity.
free advertisement, dude. Like
Exactly.
with like the Attack on Titan one, like they made one episode. These guys made one episode, and then like the creator was like, "Nope, shut it off. I don't want it.
I think it
Don't
was. I
do
think it
it."
was. I think it was Funimation. That's like, nah, pull the plug.
Well, no, because Hellsing is also on Funimation. And
Yeah,
the actual creators of Hellsing are like, "Fucking do it. Oh, hell yeah. Go off." Because like it was literally free advert. I literally went back and rewatched like Hellsing Ultimate because of Hellsing Abridged. And I've watched Ultimate before, but then I went and rewatched Abridged not too long ago. And then I was
yeah.
like, "You know what? I'm gonna watch Ultimate again."
And yeah, it might have been this. It might have been the studio behind.
Yeah, because they're like, "We don't want it. We don't want it. It makes Attack on Titan look bad." And I'm like, "How?" Like it's literally I don't know. But you know
Yeah.
what? To each their own.
Some studios, some groups love it, while others find it just copyright infringement. But fan films, for the most part, depending on how you do it, could be in a legal gray area. So, because obviously people can't get permission from the studios. Most of the time, the studios will say no. But these films, for example, were made without, I don't think, without ever having any connection to the original, to the studios at all. They did it in such like a weird. You have to do things in a weird way to get around it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Because sometimes the studios will put like cease and desist shit on you. Same with like fan made video games and fan made animations or shows. Or
Oh,
whatever.
that's right. Does anyone remember Pokemon Uranium?
Yes.
It was out for like a day, and then Nintendo shut it down.
Oh yeah, Nintendo shut that shit fucking down.
Oh my
so
gosh, there's
goddamn
that
quick.
one. There's that one. Can't remember. Where it's like Venusaur versus like Pikachu. And like Venusaur is just like, "Bro, like you don't know any of my attacks." "I don't know.
Oh,
I just-"
that's
Yeah,
an Ego,
that,
that's an
yeah.
Ego Raptor cartoon, and that's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yes.
Yes. Like, all you do is feed me profits.
It's
I
like,
need
I
nourishment.
was like, oh man,
I
just
need
use fucking solo beat.
nourishment.
Okay, fine, thanks.
They're like, you could have just walked away. I
But
love that one. I actually just watched that last night.
oh, you did?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god.
Because there was me and Matt were like watching some like try not to laugh challenges from Smosh,
Yeah.
and there was like one that reminded me of that animation because like the dude came out looking like a very old and like drunk Ash Ketchum, and and like the way he was talking, it reminded me of like the what you know what Venusaur.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I have to watch this. I was like, here, I have to show you this video because he had never watched it. So I watched it last night.
But most a majority of the time people, well, not people, studios and people who own the rights to the work for the most part ignore the fan projects, except for obviously there's a few that are just like, no, cease and desist for whatever reason. Most of the time, it's the ones that look like they're going to be really, really, really fucking good because they're
The
fan
better
made.
than what they've made.
Exactly, like the Pokemon Uranium. That shit was looking real fucking good, and I missed it. I found out literally a couple days after they got the cease and desist letter before I downloaded it, and I'm like, why? No. So there's that. But
I bet you anything you can still find it somewhere.
oh, I'm sure. I just haven't gone back. I haven't gone looking for it since I initially released it, and then next day gone. But it's like, honestly, it shouldn't fucking matter if they're not if people aren't, because majority of the time people are making these projects, they're not making money off of it. Then who cares?
Yeah, like a lot of projects are lower budget, and
Yeah.
it's like why there's a bunch of animated parodies on YouTube because they're not all drawn very well, but some of them look really good. And then
Yeah.
whereas Never Hike series, it's like we have original footage and mostly original actors and maybe some cameos by people who were part of the Jason franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And those films are crowdfunded. So again, they're not making money off it. The people are funding them to make it. So
Like through Patreon.
Yep. Patreon and Kickstarter, Indiegogo, that type of shit. So
Or you know, they make like merch and then they sell it at cons, and then
Yeah.
and then they'll use that money to make their project.
Yeah. But yeah, film projects are in a weird gray area because majority of the time, most studios will ignore it because it's, hey, free publicity. But then you get that one fucking corporation. It's like, no, can't do that. And everyone kind of just side eyes them like, what the fuck? This shit's better than your crap anyway. So, because my God, I would love to make some fan films, but I am scared of an NDA legal issues. So that's why I haven't done anything. Because girl, there's a few things I would love to do with the X-Men. But again, Marvel.
Definitely not anything that's owned by Disney, dude. Definitely
Marvel is a weird gray area because sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. And I'm just like, girl.
Oh, wait a minute. Fox is the one who owns. Oh, but Disney owns Fox now.
Yeah, Disney owns the X-Men, mutants and shit.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, that's the reason why I haven't done anything of those, because trust, I would love to. No, I'm not about to get hit with an NDA and lawyers. So, but other people who do it, girl, works. I love watching fan films. So yes, conversation on fan films, and this one was made in the gray area. There's honestly, I give it to these people who make these fan films because it's an art. It's an art to make the film in such a way that's not similar to the original product, but just different enough where they can't do anything about it. Because sometimes you get fan films that are especially made where the studio will go after them and they're like, "Haha, you can't though, bitch." So there's been an instance where people throw it back at the studios and be like, no, you can't do anything. We're in a gray area. We are doing stuff legally here. So go fuck yourself. Which I'm like, applause, babes, applause. Because that happens very far in between. But when you can outsmart a studio and get away with doing shit like that, take it. Yes, Never Hike in the Snow and Never Hike Alone. Both directed by Vincent DeSanti. He also plays the I was about to say Freddy, the Jason Voorhees.
He plays the Jason.
He plays the Jason. He plays Jason Voorhees for the films. So he's in his own movie. Because originally they were supposed to have one of the Jasons that was in the film franchise be in it, but he backed out. Last minute, right?
Yeah, scheduling conflicts.
So the director's like, screw it, I'll do it. And he did it for all three of these movies. Of all three of these films. And also, did you know there's a Michael versus Jason fan film? I swear we should do several episodes on fan films in the in the future. We should just go through franchises of horror and just do a bunch of fan films on different episodes. Future note, putting down the notes. But so I guess we will start with Never Hike in the Snow. Or do y'all want to start with Never Hike Alone since that was the first one that was released?
Well, Never Hike in the Snow is a prequel, so
That is true.
You know, I guess like story wise, it would make sense to do Snow first and then Hike Alone and then Hike Alone 2 and then talk about how they're planning additional movies.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah, let me double check.
I think they are. Uh,
A prequel and 3 sequels were announced on Friday, September 13th, 2019. So there's Never Hike in the Snow, Never Hike Alone 2, Never Hike Again, which we've seen. And then there's Never Hike Alone 3, Jason Takes Crystal Lake, and Never Hike Alone 4, The Final Hike.
what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm a little bizarre. I'm like, 2 kind of wrap things up, although there is the mask that breathes extra bubbles at the end. I'm like, is he going to come back? Maybe.
I like Never Hike Alone 3. Never Hike Alone 4, The Final Hike. Girl, I'm sorry, I ain't hiking. Y'all crazy. Are you hiking? Because I'm not hiking. And then Jason Takes Crystal Lake. What the fuck? It's just so weird. And so good.
It's just like the Muppets Take Manhattan, except it's just one guy taking an entire lake.
But the lake's already his. I'm so confused. But I love it. So I'm here for it. And they also have Jason Rising. And that's another fan film of theirs? Question mark? There's so many things. But that one was like a minute and 30 seconds. So, but the studio behind it is also Womp Stomp Films, right? Yeah, Womp Stomp Films, which is also ran by Vincent DeSanti. He's the founder, producer, and director of said films. Speaking of freaking Marvel, one of the other people, part of Womp Stomp Films, Austin Boang. Terrible at names.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the About Me page on the website, on the wompstompfilms.com. The About section talks about the people involved in the projects. And one of them is named Austin. His name is Austin. And he's been, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. He was working with Marvel, with the X-Men shit. So that's funny. And now he's doing fan films or working on these fan films as well as their original films, because they also have a bunch of original stuff as well. But This is the dream right here, y'all. Again, the link to their website will also be in the description below. So, never hike in the snow. Let me find a synopsis of Never Hike in the Snow. Probably should have looked it up a long time ago. So Never Hike in the Snow follows a young man named Mark Hill. That's funny. As he's running through the snow in a forest, which I'm like, okay, first off, the way they made look Crystal Lake in these films, girl, this is Jersey. This is New Jersey. You can't tell me there's this beauty in New Jersey. Is there? Is there this as much forest in New Jersey?
I mean, anywhere where there's not a lot of people or civilization, I'm sure it's bound to look really gorgeous.
But like, I always thought New Jersey just being a bunch of cities and small towns all gathered up together and shit. So that's
The
different.
entire state's not going to be like that.
I don't know, for whatever reason I had the idea that something like that was like they wouldn't have it like
They do have state parks.
scenery.
Those things do exist
It's
in
true.
Jersey.
That is true. That is true. You're right.
It's like not every state's going to have these gorgeous forests like my state does.
Well, this state we live in is a fucking cesspool of
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. There's
humidity,
actually gorgeous forest. Well, yeah,
humidity and or desert.
yes, but it has gorgeous forests as well, or woods, I should say.
Spooky,
It's like
spooky
chopped
woods.
down because they want housing and fucking other fucking buildings and shit.
You're right.
To
So
what?
yeah, I said you right. You right.
Yeah, like go up north, like towards the northern border.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I was driving to my sister's wedding and back, bruh, nothing but just like trees. Like I'm driving through forests and shit.
Gorgeous.
Oh, it was beautiful.
So yeah, Mark Hill, a young man, probably what, early 20s, late teens, something like that.
The college age.
Yeah, college age, probably early 20s. He decides to go running in a snowy forest by himself, which, I mean, in horror film scenario, granted, how is he supposed to know that he was going to die that day? But like, so he's jogging, running, through the forest, trying to find his car. Well, he leaves his house with his mom, and then he drives up to like a national park forest area, and then he goes running, hiking, whatever, and then he goes back to try to find his car. And this is when Jason,
he left to go take photos. He's a
yes,
photographer.
yeah, he went to go take photos, and when he was done, he was heading back to his vehicle or trying to find his vehicle. And then that's when the hockey mask, mama's boy, who should have just stayed in the lake and drowned to death, Jason, popped out. And uses a bow and arrow. And I'm like, what? Has Jason ever used a bow and arrow? I'm like, where's the machete?
Not that I know of. Like, I've seen the first Friday the 13th movie and then these fan films. I haven't gotten to watch the whole franchise, so I don't know if he's ever used a bow and arrow before, but
Same.
this was great to watch. Just like pulls it back and just fires it through Mark's leg.
But the first film wasn't even him. It was his mother. Spoiler alert. It was his mother.
Yes, I know. But
Yeah.
still.
I mean, I've watched a few of them, and I've never seen him use.
Spoiler alert! Whenever these movies came out, like
in like the 70s.
I was about to say 30 years ago.
It's more like
other people's past.
That's more like 50 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. I can't say 30 years ago because I still think that like
We saw the mindset of it being 2000 something.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, no, because 30 years ago was in 90, was like in 95.
It's been more like 50 years.
Oh.
Oh God, 50 years. Jesus.
Anyway, but yeah,
So yeah, he fires off an arrow and it goes through Mark's knee, which I'm just like, first off, the budget. I don't know how he did it. I want to get this. Vincent DeSanti, if you're listening, I want to get you on the pod. I have questions. How'd you do it? How'd you do all this? I want to know how you did some of these scenes of gore.
they are fantastic.
Because I need to take notes. So if you're listening, please email description below. Send it to me. I want to have you on the pod. Period. Because I have questions. Because it looks gross. Poor Mark. And he goes down. And then Jason pulls out an axe. And this next scene is what kind of sold me in on the Never Hike series. And I'm like, oh, this is gross. And I love it. He takes an axe to the mouth. And kind of, again, I don't know how they fucking did it. Like he axed him and it basically went through his mouth and kind of cut his jaw off and his head separate. Like the jaw. Oh God.
It was so good. Oh
it
my
was
God.
so gross. I want to know how he did it. But Santi, how'd you do it? I need answers. Because it's so gross. And the fact that they had it in such a way where he was like still blinking and shit. And I'm like, how? Oh. So he dies in the most horrific way imaginable. And they showed everything. It was great. And his body was dragged away. Then you cut to Sheriff Rick and his deputy Alan, and Deputy Alan find the blood in the snow. And he then goes to talk to to Mark's mother, while the deputy stays to clean up the crime scene. From there, the sheriff looks through Mark's room and finds coordinates for Camp Crystal Lake, where he arrested a person named Tommy Jarvis, who broke in trying to find Jason. The deputy disobeys the sheriff's orders and is lured into one of the shacks by Jason as this is all going on. So he's cleaning up the crime scene. The deputy then finds Mark's frozen corpse before Jason. My favorite death of this movie. His head gets blown off with a shotgun.
While he's still holding it.
Again, DeSanti, I have questions. Answers. Email me. Thoughts on this first one? I loved it. It was intense and just gross.
That was great.
Yeah, like they worked with 30 minutes of a story and they made it work very well.
Yeah. And this also takes place 3 months before the first Never Hike Alone series, by the way.
Movie.
For the very first one. It takes place 3 months before. And this one correlates to the other two, has correlation to the other two. More so the second one. But that's where on the timeline this is. But no, yeah, this was fantastic. Great. Obviously the budget wasn't huge, but they pulled a Blumhouse and took the budget they had and they stretched it to make it look as good as it did. Like they really went ham on that. And I need to know everything. I'm going to find a way to contact DeSanti and I'm going to get him on the pod. I'm saying it right now. I am putting it out in the universe. I'm going to get DeSanti on this podcast. And I'm going to ask him all these filmmaking questions and he's going to be like what is this? What did I get myself into? And I'm like, sir, as a person who wants to be a filmmaker and editor, I need to know this shit. Teach me your ways. The camera work, fantastic. Cinematography, great. The camera quality, I want to know what camera they use. It was great. Great. All around, just. Any other thoughts? Besides me blowing hot air up DeSantis' butt, which is well deserved, by the way.
The whole crew, really.
Yeah, exactly. The whole
whole
cast,
crew,
everything.
everybody that was a part of this project.
Okay, cool. Moving on to the next one.
I was
Never
I don't know what to add.
Never Hike Alone. The next one. The first one that came out. This one is about 54 minutes originally, but the uncut version is 82. Again, directed by Vincent DeSantis. He's also playing Jason Voorhees. Again. Then we get oh God, I lost my train of thought. Oh, okay, cool. The film was released back in October 13th, 2017. Oh, pre-pandemic days. The film is about a guy named Kyle McLeod, a hiker who is doing a solo backpacking trip through the remains of Camp Crystal Lake. He's also recording everything because he is a YouTuber. So they get everything on footage for this guy. This film, Bunya, tell us about the film.
What parts are we talking? Plot or
the overall plot of Never Hike Alone.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just some guy named Kyle filming for his YouTube video, like you said, and he's like, "I'm gonna go hiking at Camp Crystal Lake."
Because that's a choice people make.
Okay, I'm reading this from the wiki, so hang on.
Yeah. You're fine.
So while he's making his way, he's talking about like how long it's gonna take him and how he's like it'll probably take him most of the day. And he was like, "Okay, I will record when I get back to you." And I think he also has to like endorse a product too. So it's like, okay, like at night when he has to take a break, he's in this tent and he's like, here's this shovel." And he has to like endorse the shovel. Like, wow, it's a great product. And like he hears coyotes in the distance, is what it sounds like. So he's having to just hide in the tent for a while. Like, okay, turn off the light, record this later. Don't let the coyotes find me. And I think either there's like a hint that maybe Jason kills one of the coyotes, because I think you hear one just like squeal and it's just silence.
That was the first thing that he heard.
Oh, I thought it was just the
that
coyotes howling.
Squeal, and then he heard the coyotes.
Oh.
I think anyway. I don't remember the smaller details.
Okay. Well, it becomes the next day, and he's like, okay, back to hiking, and then he finds the like the little chain sign that's like no trespassing. And while he's like filming, Jason just shows up in the background, just standing there. And then every time the camera cuts to like Kyle about to turn around to look at Jason, it's like, oh, Jason's not there. It does this a few times.
He's like, ooh, peekaboo.
Yep. And I'm like, how is he hiding so quickly with that huge body of his?
I just imagine Jason like that Kim Kardashian meme where she's leaning out of the bush, like, hey. That's the first
Or
thing I thought of when I see him in the back. He's just like, hey, hey, girl.
or he's like, what if he just turns 2D? He was like, I'm gonna go hop behind the tree. And then he just turns sideways, and then he's just a 2D figure, so you can't see him at all.
He's like Homer, just fade into the bush.
Mhm. But yeah, Kyle goes across the fence, ignoring signs because they're signs and
Like,
cannot
joke's
enforce
on you,
authority.
tough guy. I can't read.
But yeah, I think he makes it like to the edge of the lake, and then he finds like the main camp lodge.
Mhm.
Yeah, like he finds like the big signs like, oh, this is Camp Crystal Lake. Oh, you guys know about that Jason dude? Apparently he killed some people, and it turned out to actually be his mom. And the real Jason drowned in the lake. Like he's sort of summarizing the story of the first movie.
Mhm.
But as he was running through the woods, he did stumble upon that sign, and he hurt his leg. So he's like, I gotta get back to the camp to grab a med kit. And then I think at this point he's sewing up the wound while he's hiding from Jason, because I think at this point he like finds out where he is. Like, oh, Jason's actually real.
And
It's like,
yeah.
yeah, it's terrifying. But he does eventually. No, wait. He goes to the lodge and he ends up just investigating the place, and he notices that it's a crime scene because there's all this tape and these markings showing where people perished. And then he's up in this attic, and he does find like the head of Jason's mom. It's all decrepit. The skin is shrunk and just what a dead person's head looks like. And then Jason shoves him outside of this door that's in the attic, out into the ground. I was like, oh, a door that leads to nowhere. What's the point of this? And I was like, oh, the movie has a reason for that. You're gonna get shoved out of it in just 5 minutes.
Oh,
But yeah, like he has to run, and he goes back to the camp that he was at to get a med kit, and then he's just sewing that wound up, trying to keep away from Jason. But Jason finds him, and Kyle runs away, as expected. Um, I think at this point Jason has a machete or he has an axe. He has a weapon. And I don't remember what Kyle fights him with, but they hurt each other. Oh yeah. I think Kyle got the machete and he like cuts Jason across his gut, and then Jason. Damn, for some reason I'm having a hard time reading this. So Jason stabs Kyle in the gut, which I imagine that was hurt. I imagine that really hurt. And then Jason gets a hatchet in the neck. And we're like, oh, that should kill him, right? No.
you would think.
Yeah, but it's not enough. But yeah, Kyle does manage to get away until the next day. And Kyle has a dream where Jason finds him and crushes his skull. And like Kyle wakes up and is like, oh, he's been found by paramedics. And I think it's because either he contacted them or someone else contacted the paramedics. I don't remember how that played out, but you've got these two paramedics, Axel and Denny, and then it's Tommy Jarvis who's driving the ambulance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Tommy gets pulled out from the truck by Jason, and then there's a struggle. And then the two other paramedics go to see, like, what's going on? And then they get killed, but then Tommy makes it back in the truck, and then he drives off with the ambulance with Tommy in the back, like freaking out. It's like Jason's like right there, man. And that's the end of the first Never Hike Alone.
Yeah. They kind of leave it on a cliffhanger that they drive off with Jason walking after them and shit. I'm just like, girl, just run him over. Back it up.
But the door was open to the ambulance.
I would have
Jason
turned
would
around.
Jason would have just climbed in.
Nah, I would have just turned around and then like ran him over and kept running him over. Eventually he's got to stop, right? You would think.
Not in the lore of this film. I do like it how it builds suspense with Jason just showing up and then Kyle like barely missing him. And then for a while you just don't see him anywhere. And then by the time Kyle finds headless, the missing head of Jason's mom, that's when Jason shows up and starts actually attacking him.
Right. Yeah, and takes the fact that he still has his mom's dead body. I mean, that's part of the course. It's like
Only her head. He only has her head.
that, yeah, still part of the course.
So
Jason's unhealthy obsession with his mother is sus. So yeah, that's the first two films. So far, so good. The gore is great. The violence is nice. It's good. Great. Fantastic. Jason, I hate Friday the 13th. I shouldn't say I hate Friday the 13th. I don't like Friday the 13th that much. He's my least favorite slasher. But these films give me a nice appreciation for Jason. So work. Get it. Yes, girl, give us everything. Last week we had a little conversation about fan films and fan projects, and we talked about Never Hike Alone in the Snow and Never Hike Alone, part of the Never Hike Alone series, which is a fan series on Friday the 13th. So today we are just going to be talking about Never Hike Alone 2, the sequel that came out recently, actually.
a few weeks ago, no?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. Came out on October 13th, 2022.
So a month ago.
Yeah, about a month ago.
From this
Oh, as of recording this. Probably more like 2 months as of recording this, but yes, about a month ago. Again, film was directed by Vincent DeSanti. Again, if you're listening, DeSanti, email me. It's okay, babe. It's fine. You'll find my email in the description. It's good. Cool. Still done by Womp Stomp Films. And this movie is 73 minutes long. Ooh, we're getting a bigger budget here, people. Longer minutes is about an hour and 13 minutes. It's almost an hour and a half. Dun, dun. So, the plot. Housekeeper. What happens in this movie?
What happens in this movie?
Yeah, what happens in this movie?
Well, there's some killing, there's some investigate. I'm just like, so,
I mean, you're not wrong.
if I remember correctly, I watched it this morning.
Oh, what a way to start your day. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, I watched it for while I was eating breakfast.
That's a journey.
I mean, I didn't hate it. Like
Yeah.
I made breakfast and then I put it on. Me and Matt watched it while we were eating breakfast, so it was great. Oh God. The movie starts off, I believe, with I believe Tommy, or they call him Jarvis. He goes into camp, Camp Crystal Lake, and he's walking around. He has his shotgun with him. He's looking everywhere. He is hunting down Jason. And he can't find anything, so he goes back to his car, and as he goes back to his car, the sheriff shows up. And the sheriff gets mad at him because he's just like, Tommy, motherfucker, the sign says stay the fuck out. That means stay the fuck out. Stop coming in here. The only person I see whenever I come here is you. There's no such thing as Jason. And Tommy's like, I know he's here. I know he's back. And like they get into this huge argument. While this conversation is happening, there is a seems like there's excuse me, I'm sorry. It seems like there's somebody watching the conversation. We don't know who, but someone's watching this conversation. And then they drive off. And the person watches them drive off. And then we find out that it's actually the hiker from Never Hike Alone, the first one. This is before I guess he got settled into Camp Crystal Lake and got attacked. Um, and then it cuts back to the city or the town, I believe. I'm really trying to remember like word for word because there is no wiki for this. Oh, here it is. I couldn't find it. It doesn't have a summary. it doesn't have a summary.
Recently just came out, so
Yeah. It shows the mob from Never Hike in the Snow.
yeah.
There's a conversation between the mom and Tommy. At one point, she's trying to make her way back to work. They're surprised that she's back at work, telling her that she could take all the time that she needs, for her missing son. And she's like, no, no, like, it's best to go back to work. It's best to be here. She gets a flashback. Because there's two paramedics studying for a nursing exam. And she gets a flashback of her son, and it freaks her out. She goes outside where she talks to Tommy. Which, you know what? Let me say this right. This woman is a fantastic actress.
Yes. Agreed.
She is amazing. She is really good. Oh gosh, what's her name? Anna Campbell. She is really good. Great actress. I wish she was in more shit. They have this conversation about how about her son and how yeah, he's dead, but he's not dead. And it confuses Tommy for a second, and she's just all like, he's technically missing. Like, I know he's dead. I know he's gone, but according to the state, they won't drop the case that he's missing and for 7 years. So I have to continuously live through this shit. And then she goes back inside. After that happens, I think on the walkie, Tommy gets a call saying that, oh hey, we found this injured dude, you need to come down and get him. It's by this marker. It's gonna be a bit of a hike, but you gotta come get him. He looks pretty beat up. And so they go and they pick up the hiker from the first one. I believe, right? That's who it is.
Yep, they're picking up
Yep.
Kyle.
They're picking up Kyle. Kyle. They're picking up Kyle.
And I think when they get to him, he warns them of a second hiker, or someone else knows there might be a second person here.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think he says there's other people in the woods, or there's someone else out in the woods. Tommy tells one of the park ranger that's there, they have a conversation. I don't remember exactly what the conversation is though. But I think he mentions Jason again, and she goes to her car and gets promptly stabbed by
Stab,
Jason
stab, shank, shank. Yeah.
in the throat.
Yup.
Which, damn.
Oof.
Tommy like looks back at the thing, sees that the hazard lights are turned on, and then like he hears like yelling coming from behind, like the back of the cab of the ambulance. Starts yelling at them, and then by the time he turns back around, the car is gone. You see that it has been moved. So they haven't left yet. I remember that they haven't left yet. They have a conversation in the back of the cab. And I think as he goes to the front of the cab, he's in the front, and one of the paramedics gets attacked. He gets killed. Right?
I think Tommy gets attacked first. Like he
Does
has
Tommy
a
get attacked first?
yeah, like he has a hidden
Oh,
sawed-off
that's right. That's
shotgun
right.
in the front of his cab, but before he's able to grab it, Tommy gets him, but he doesn't kill him. And
That's
then
right.
the male paramedic's like, "Hey, what's going on up there?" And then he gets killed, and then the other paramedic comes out and she gets killed. And then it's like, "Oh no, he's coming for Kyle."
That's right. That's right. So like, yeah, because like he attacks Tommy, and then they hear the ruckus, and then the guy jumps out and then tries to save him, but then he throws the fucking axe at him, and then he dies, and then the girl in the back's like, oh my god, and then
Right.
like I think he goes after her too, like he grabs her, and so then like Tommy's just like, oh fuck, and so then like he like drives off and like tells dispatch that like Jason is back as they drive to the hospital. But before they are able to drive off, Jason rips off the patch that says what hospital he works at off of the dude's arm, off of Tommy's arm. And then they make it back to the hospital. I think the sheriff gets the sheriff tries to reopen up the case of Tommy. He believes that Tommy is kind of like a nutcase, has a nightmare that Tommy is a murderer before he wakes up, and like they tell him like, "Oh yeah, we got a call from dispatch saying that Tommy went to go pick up somebody from the hiking trail and told us that like Jason is back." He's like, "Oh, that's fucking up. No, he's not fucking back. He's fucking back. What a retard. I'm gonna go out there myself and I'm gonna prove to him." Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, he probably just wants me to go out there so he could shit on my hood. And as he's leaving, they're like, $20 he's gonna shit on the hood. I'll take you on that bet.
No.
I thought that was so funny. I was like, yeah, that's how employees work 100%. That's no matter where you work. Um back at the hospital, Tommy is like, I need to talk to this guy. I need to talk to this guy. He's seen Jason, like I need more information. And the mom, Diana, was like, no, like he needs to recover. And that's whenever Tommy tells Diana, the mom, like what happened with Jason, like who Jason is, what happened to her son, which rightfully so makes her upset. She's like, you knew that my son was murdered and you didn't tell me. And he was basically like, well, yeah, because I knew that you wouldn't believe me. So like now that you believe me, like we need to get evidence. Like we need to have proof that Jason is back. And that's whenever they find his the hikers
It's like a GoPro
GoPro.
camera.
Yeah, it looks like a
Yeah.
GoPro. While this is going on, the sheriff goes to investigate, finds the park rangers car, finds bodies in the car, and then puts what is it called, an APB.
Yeah, it's like an all police broadcast. I don't remember what it exactly means, but basically it's like we're looking for this person who's done these crimes. We want everybody in the area to look for them.
Yeah, it's called an all points bulletin. It's basically an alert for from one police station to others in the area. He's basically like, hey, there's an APB out on Tommy, on Tommy Jarvis, for like mass capital murder or some shit like that. And so it goes back to the hospital and they start going through the footage that the webcam has captured. I want to know. I want to know what time period this movie is based in, because he's like, that thing's a camera? Huh. And they're like, yeah, this guy like makes YouTube. He's a YouTuber. Oh, it's a YouTuber. You could do that? And she's like, yeah, you'll be surprised that people will watch people just go hiking. Yeah, you'll be surprised at what people can watch. I'm like, this is a very early YouTube conversation.
Is this like the
And
2010s, or is this guy
yeah,
just not on the internet for very long?
he's
Right.
yeah, I was like, bro, this is 2023, 2024. What's going on? You don't know about YouTubers? To be fair, a lot of the older generation doesn't know about YouTubers. I work with them, so it's okay. But I was just like, wow, that I feel aged watching this conversation. But anyway, they go through this film, and they see, like, the regular stuff that, that would be on a vlog. But there was one part in particular where he was sitting on a bed, he was reading a letter, and he's like, "Oh, what is that smell?" And like he looks and he freaks out. And they review it and they find that, oh, that's Jason's mom's head. That's Jason's mom's head. Um oh gosh, I'm trying to remember what happens next. Um and Tommy's just like, "Oh, we need to get that head. We need to get that head. We need to destroy it."
That's what she said.
That's what he said. What are you talking about?
They both said.
That's
Oh,
that's what
anyway.
he said. Hey yo.
Aren't the police like on their way to the hospital because they know that's where Jarvis is?
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
it's like,
so.
oh, and then Tommy's like, oh, I gotta hide.
Yes, because so they make this plan. The Diana, the mom, leaves, and that's whenever the security guard is like, "Yeah, I gotta look like we Jarvis is, or Tommy is wanted. We need to find him." Hold on, give me a second. Oh yeah, so the security guard like looks, he's like, "Well, I just want to make sure, doesn't see him," and then walks off. And then they're like, "Oh, well, yeah, we're all going to go together." And as they leave the hospital, that's whenever the police show up. And then they're trying to take Tommy, and then Jason starts attacking everyone, kills two of the cops, kills a nurse, and then goes after the ones that have run outside. And that's whenever you find out that he vandalized all the cars. He took all the batteries out of the cars.
Yeah, that's an
So that
interesting scene because it's like over the radio,
place.
it's like some guy's vandalizing the cars. And it's like, well, then fucking deal with it. And then the lights go out and it all gets red tinted. And you're like, huh, I don't know if I've ever seen a hospital this cinematically lit before,
Right.
Yeah.
but it fits.
And first off, how dare Jason Voorhees destroy vehicles? The insurance company's does not cover zombie man from bottom of lake destroying my car.
But do they cover vandalizing a car battery or ripping the car battery out?
Possibly, but the second you tell them, oh yeah, some zombie man from the bottom of the lake came up and destroyed my battery in my car, can you replace it? Are they really going to replace it?
Shit, you got me there.
That's rude. You don't have zombie coverage, sir. Sorry, you don't have zombie man from bottom of the lake coverage. You have zombie coverage, but you don't have zombie man coming from the bottom of the lake. That's a different package. Could you imagine?
Yeah, so I forgot where I was at. They make a plan to try and get back the ambulance, right? And they're like,
Yeah.
"Well, yeah, we have an extra battery in the back. Like, we can just put it in." How are you gonna do that with this guy running around? He's like, "Oh, don't worry about it." The freaking security guard's like, "I'll be the distraction. I'll take care of him." Or no, it wasn't the security guard. It was the sheriff. The fucking sheriff. And like he's just like, "Hey, eat lead." Starts like shooting 2 pistols at once at this guy. And then like promptly gets killed. But that gives them enough time to get the truck started or the ambulance started and drive off. But as they drive off, Jason throws the axe and almost hits the hiker. I can't remember his name.
Kyle?
Kyle. And almost hits Kyle. They go to they make it to the camp, but not before Jason does. You see Jason walk into the lake, and I'm like, how the fuck did he get there? Quicker than a fucking ambulance.
Right.
Um,
Quicker than a damn snicker.
yeah. Someone else continue. I'll be right back. I gotta take care of something real quick.
Oh, geez, where did we leave off?
You're going back into the camp.
Oh, okay. So it's like, I think they're like, Diana, stay with the vehicle because Kyle needs to show them where the body is, and then Jarvis has to be there also for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, they find the head up in the attic, and it's like, oh, there it is. Oh no, it's not there. It's gone.
It's mysteriously gone.
And then I think Jarvis explains like, Kyle, you stepped onto his territory. You basically trespassed his domain. That's why he wants to kill you.
Bum bum bum.
Um, I'm thinking Jason and Kyle do fight for a bit, and Jason gets it very close to getting killed, but Jarvis. I think does Jarvis have an axe at this point, or does he have a shotgun?
I think he has a shot.
Because there is that moment where Diana shows up and helps out. And I don't remember, like, did she just like drive the ambulance over him, or does she?
I think she
do
ran
something
over
else?
him.
Okay.
I think she did run over him.
Yeah, it's just that moment of like, oh no, what the heck did we do? And then we have the third person who shows up and is like, I'll save you. And I don't remember, where did they find the head?
I do not remember what.
Yeah, because I think Kyle gets a hold of it and it's like, hey, is this what you're looking for? Come and get me. And then they somehow end up by like the edge of the lake. And I think one of them is on the ground, and then someone tosses them the head, and he uses it to block Jason's machete hit. So it crushes the skull, and then Jason's like he doesn't say anything, but you could tell by his body movements and expression, well, faceless expression, was just like, Oh no, I fucked up.
Right.
And that pretty much defeats Jason. Like destroying the head removes his ties to his body, and
Yeah.
he's pretty much forced to return to the lake. Well, I think he becomes inanimate, and then he just push his body into the lake, and he sinks.
Yeah. But then at the very end, they give a hint that he's obviously still alive.
Yeah, like
As per
the
fucking
mask at the
usual.
bottom, and the bubbles just like.
Yeah. I was like, God damn, of course he's still alive. Of course he is.
And okay, so yeah, that's pretty much the end of the movie, but like a slight side quest here. So there was this scene where it's like, here's an axe and a stump, and that's the one I think Jason uses. And I was looking at the axe, and I'm like, I think I picked up that axe when we went to Bastrop.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was one of
Yeah.
the prop axes. I have never held a prop axe before, and I was surprised at how light it was.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
like
was
made
like,
out of foam.
was it made out of foam, like the handle and the blade?
It should. Usually, most props are.
It didn't feel like that. I mainly just noticed the weight because
Well,
I've
maybe,
held
or
up
maybe they just used a light wood.
probably. Like I'm just like, oh, this thing is probably going to be heavy, but it's probably looked dull because that's what I imagined. And I picked it up and was like, this weighs less than a pound. Whereas the axe that I'm used to carrying is like 5 pounds. So I was just surprised at the difference in weight.
Oh. Damn.
But it was sort of like, I picked that thing up. I touched it. Maybe.
Right. So yes, that is Never Hike Alone 2. Fantastic film. Again, this whole series is just great. If you haven't watched it, please do so. Description down below have links to everything from the YouTube links to watch the films, as well as the website to go buy the physical release or whatnot and support them. And there's going to be 2 others coming out here soon. Probably one next year. Most likely. Yes. I mean, unless there's anything else, I think that's.
There's like a little after credits thing at the end, if I can find it.
Oh, go for it.
Oh yeah, it's Hikerman 5000.
Oh God.
And he has like this weirdly edited YouTube intro that's like reminiscent of like I guess early 2010 edits.
Yeah.
And he's like a big fan of Hiker Junkie, which I think was Kyle's YouTube user.
Oh God. Yeah.
And he's just like, now, where did Hiker Junkie go? And he has all this fan stuff all around his wall, but for some reason I get the sense that he doesn't really hike himself. But he's like, I'm gonna dedicate my life to taking over for his legacy. It's like, really?
I mean, work. I guess work, sis. Like, damn, girl. Go, girl. Give us nothing. But yeah, that's that. That's Never Hike Alone. Never Hike Alone in the Snow, Never Hike Alone, and then Never Hike Alone 2. So these last 2 weeks have covered all of that. If you would like us to talk about other fan projects, please send us a message, because I do want to talk about more fan films outside of just these. So please do not hesitate to drop a hey, you should try watching this one, because we'll do it. We'll do it. Yeah, unless there's anything else. This is going to be a shorter episode for today. I think this episode's going to be like, what, 30 minutes, give or take?
Probably a little over 30.
Yeah, probably 30 minutes. But yeah. So
But
thank
yeah.
you guys for what? Sorry, go on, buddy.
That's it. But yeah, we really like this film and the other
Yes,
two.
it's good. It is
They were
good.
great.
It is good. And Mr. DeSanti, you'll be hearing from me. You'll be hearing from me. I'm gonna give him the pie, I swear. I swear. So at some point in the future, we're calling it right now. But on that note, thank you all for listening to today's episode. Catch us next time as we talk about something Christmassy. Until then, bye.
Goodbye.